Hello everyone, welcome to the Roundup here on BloodbowlLive. Here once again to go through all of the details from the ninth season of the A&DBBL Season 9. We are deep into playoffs and we've got 9 games to go through with you. We have got Scott and Tom here with me as always to go through all of the details from those 9 games, and we're coming to you live on Twitch and YouTube today, so we'll see whether we have any tech issues, but hopefully everything will go smoothly. Before we dive in, a couple of quick shout outs. First of all, at the weekend, we hit our £500 fundraising target for St. Elizabeth's Hospice. So a huge thank you to everyone who has put bounties on, bought mugs, done anything that they've done to donate money to the St. Elizabeth's Hospice. It's a very worthwhile charity, and they do great work. And it's great that we've hit that £500 target that we set. If you want to donate more, please do continue to donate. And also we have got mugs still available. Scott, if somebody wants a mug, what are the details? How do they get one?
If somebody wants a mug, and if they want to elevate themselves in the Blood Bowl community and, be someone who everyone else looks up to, admires and worships and fawns over, and maybe builds themselves a little shrine to that person. If you want to be as cool as Dave Rue, if you want to be as cool as Mark, and if you want to be as cool as Andy, drop me a note or speak to Chris or Luke in Sky Store. It's £15 per mug, of which £6 is a guaranteed tribute and donation to our friends and supporting people at St. Elizabeth's Hospice. So it's all for good, all well and good. And if you want to pop onto Discord, look at Andy. Before he had his Blood Bowl mug, he was just another Blood Bowl coach wallowing in the depths of rolling and despair. Now look at him. Life is complete. He's marching on. He has the Stunty Cup, spoiler alert, and life is now, that little bit more colourful for him. So be like Andy. Get yourselves a mug. Make a donation. Don't be that guy. Thank you.
Cool. Let's dive into our first game then, and we have got the in for a penny, in for a pound Imperial Nobility with a 1-0 victory over the Wolverhampton Shamblers Necromantic Horror side here. A great start to his first playoff run in his first season for James with a 1-0 win against who is an experienced coach with this Necromantic side. Let's not do any kind of disservice to either of these coaches. Jane is a very good coach with this Necromantic side, and James has got a very good result here. Tom, we'll come to you first. The Necromantic Horror side that Jane has here, we are kind of used to it. We know some of the good players that are in that side. An interesting challenge, Nobility. They will have been a tough one for Jane to try and break down with the level of control they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. I was about to say, with all that fend, it's quite a bit of a kind of a barrier especially for the Necromantic Horror, which kind of loves just tagging people up and just forcing them to dodge out. And as you quite rightly say, James was up against it, even having to bring in good old Griff to try and even things up, because Jane's team is quite formidable. We've got that werewolf there, with wrestle, tackle, jump up, dodge, and sprint. But also we've got Jason Kelsey, who is the Edge 2 lodge sidestep ghoul runner, which is quite a dangerous opponent. So clearly James did very well people at bay from not actually scoring anything.
It's looking at this game, Scott, it does feel like Griff may have been the difference here. We know that he's one of the best star players for a reason, a mega star for a reason. He got the touchdown, and I'm reliably informed as well that he got a pretty key intercept to stop Jane getting a pass to score herself. So when you're up against Griff, a really tough one to battle against.
Yeah, and I think, James, to echo what you said earlier, Chris, he's had a phenomenal first season, done really, really well to get some very good wins against some very experienced coaches. So well done, James. When you have Griff in your side, he's Griff for a reason. He's just phenomenal. He, for me, was the difference. However, you still got to play him. You still got to roll the dice. You still got to know what to do with him. If you look at the actual shape of the match, all of the incidents happening, in the first half, really, second half, looks like it was a bit of one of those, maybe James was going full broke, and things not quite working as intended. But it would have been, James still had to have controlled that match, get that 1-0 win. Okay, SP isn't, particularly great as 6, but it's the win. It gets him there, and it sort of really cemented his place to finish off what has been a very good league so far for James. Obviously not over yet, but puts him in good stead. So yeah, well done, Jane. Well done, James. And look forward to seeing what Jane is taking next season. So.
Yeah, Jane, this is the last that we see of this Necromantic Horror side that we have seen in a number of seasons now, several players who have done several seasons back to back. So it'll be a shame to see this one go, but I'm sure Jane will bring them back in some form. And very well done to James. A very good result here, getting the win that he needs to get through to the quarterfinals. And quarterfinals in your first series season is a very good achievement. So well done to him.
Yeah.
We will move on to the next game, which is the Wardenhof Blood Knights versus the Greystone Gladiators. 1-1 after 14 turns here. And to give a bit of an explanation of what happened at this game, it was a draw on turn 14. The two coaches wanted to continue playing, but they ran out of time at the location. They had to end the game there. They weren't able to play again. Two good coaches here who just chatted it out to decide kind of what would be the fair result, what would be the right result at the end of the game. And based on the kind of position on the field and where each coach was, they decided between them that Justin would progress, as Justin was sort of most likely to get the winner at the end. So they didn't want to roll off. They decided to make that result between them. So that's why the clock looks like it went on for a while, because they obviously discussed what to do, and why it looks like Justin has spent about an hour and Mitch has spent about 17, but that's not the case. Yeah, Tom, the Vampires here are coming up against a very strong opponent in the Elven Union, and Mitch hit a late run of form in this league and has put up a fight against a good coach who's had an unfortunate season this season, not done as well as he has in previous with this Elven Union side. Mitch should be pretty happy with the way he recovered from what was a pretty bad start to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. He started off strong in this game, injuring on turn 2 a lineman straight out of the block, causing a -1 armor on it. And obviously, by the looks of things, put them under a lot of pressure, Justin under a lot of pressure to kind of force him to actually do a touchdown in turn 4. And then quickly turned it around within 2 turns. It was 1-1 straight away. So these two teams seem to have been very evenly matched by the sounds of things on both sides. As you quite rightly put it, these Greystone Gladiators are Justin's team that he knows supremely well. They've got all the right skills. They're multiple seasons worth of skilled up players against what is now, as you say, quite a formidable team after a little bit of a disappointing start from the very beginning with 3 losses right from in the first 3 games. Mitch has definitely started to bring this team back in to these matches, and he's got some really nice skills on those Vampires now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Justin here. He's got through by the skin of his teeth, just about got through. He'll be in the quarterfinals. A big loss for him, Scott, in his thrower, who had leader. So that is a re-roll and the thrower down, which we imagine with the number of completions he's done this season is a player that he's going to miss in the quarterfinals.
Yes, Justin plays a lot from the back with that thrower. He does build up the SPP, hence why you've got, leader is always great for that additional reroll, and then having on the ball nerves of steel and dump off in terms of randomized skills as well. That's a lovely combo. So I think Justin owes Tour Player beer for that, first of all. I also, go back to what we said last week. Justin is going to be, he's now down to 7. So he'll have 4 linemen, so 4 journeyman linemen coming in for his next game. Is it enough? For anybody else, you'd think it might be, a challenge too far. But exactly as Tom said, if anyone can play this team and get the max out of them, Justin, I think the choice of break tackle on that catcher is quite an inspired one as well. So, having that ability to go into that cage. So you'll be going into 5 on a 4 up with reroll. That's lovely. You can basically walk into the cage, can't you, really? So that would be very, very nice indeed. You can walk out for next to nothing. So I think that'll give him something else and something extra for his opposition coaches to face. Okay, he's stat busted on a blitzer, but it still gives him, we talked about this when we were talking about the Dark Elves last week, and we talked about Tom's versus Andy's Dark Elves and how one is compressed around a key number of players, exactly as this is, and then one was spread out. I think this is still very much, the conference is very much in the bag in shooting distance, and I think he'll be in the mix when it comes down to the last few matches. I think Justin knows this team ridiculously well, so yes.
His next game will be very interesting to watch, especially with those ogres who've got 650,000 in petty cash against him.
Yeah,
that's going to be a very interesting game.
It's going to be. It's unfortunate for Mitch because I think he's had a really strong recovery to this season, and he got quite unlucky in some of those early games to drop points. And actually, he was only 1 point away from getting into the top playoff. So it's an unlucky end, but I think he's found a bit of a found a way to play with these vampires, that he has been a very difficult opponent in these last 4 games that he's played. So well done on a great kind of recovery after 3 difficult games at the beginning of the season, and well done to Justin for getting through.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. Can I just say on that point? Yeah, shout out to Mitch, because I was talking to him at Death on a Demon 3, and we were having a chat about his first season back after a bit of a break, and to see his enjoyment was really infectious. So yes, with vampires it takes a few games to get up to speed. They're a new team, but he's developed the team really nicely. He's proved he can go toe to toe with some of our more senior experienced coaches as well. And I think the more time that he'll have with this team, I think he'll be a real challenger in the future as well. So yeah, just a very, very well done to Mitch. And Justin, onwards to the next match.
Well, we will go on to our next playoff game, which was the World's Edge Berserkers versus the Lavender Lynxes, and a 2-1 victory for the Dwarfs here after extra time, 4-1 on the casualties here. And this was by no means a walk in the park for Jamie. There were points in this game where it looked like Graham really had the edge in this one. But going to extra time, it very much felt that whichever coach got the kick in extra time, whichever coach received the ball in extra time, you just felt that was the coach that was going to clinch this one. And that's exactly what happened. Graham failed sort of just a few key rolls near the end to stop the winner. But Jamie managed to get it, and Jamie goes into the quarterfinals, continuing as being unbeaten. Scott, Jamie's had an incredible season, and it's his consistency with these dwarves. He plays them, he plays them a way he knows how to play them. He plays them very, very well. He's very consistent, and it's getting him results.
It is indeed, Chris. Well done to both Graham and well done to both Jamie on this match. It is on the YouTube if anyone wants to go back and watch it. And it really took a turn when the Piranha Warrior Blitzer went -1, and it took out that really, really skilled up piece. And at that point, it did feel that the momentum had shifted. And, hat off to Graham, he stuck in there. He made it incredibly difficult for Jamie. So it wasn't just the traditional, 2-1 block. And it actually looked, in terms of the last few terms of normal time, that Graham, with some luck of the dice, could have snatched it. So the fact that Jamie was able to hang on in there, okay, he got the kick and he was receiving as well, and he did what all good dwarf coaches do. He won that war of attrition. He got the numbers, and then it felt like a numbers game, not just with the casualties, but with the amount of KOs as well. So once again, Jamie proves that, you know, with the dwarves, it might be slow and steady, but it gets you there and it gets you the wins. And yeah, all of a sudden, you're in the quarterfinal of the champion knockouts. And does anybody really want to face that team? You know, it's got all of the core parts, and it's only, so disappointingly, would you say, only 4 pieces with Mighty Blow. What's that about? You know, it almost feels like, you know, he's doing us a disservice. And he's got 18 SPP, or he's got more SP to spend than I can get together in a season.
Tom, Graham's had a good run with this Amazon side now. I feel sorry for Graham because he has come up against probably the coach on the best run of form in this first round of the playoffs. And actually, I think Graham has played with this Amazon team well enough to go further. But you know, he's come up against just someone on an absolute run.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are both 2 teams that we've come to know and love. So it's going to be a bit of a sad moment when the new season starts with all these potential new rules to see whether or not they do make an appearance, but obviously in a different form. This seems to have been a good, solid battle. You know, deaths on both sides. Who doesn't like seeing a dead dwarf? You know, and equally they weren't kind of just normal lineman either. That dwarf was a blitzer, seemed to have already been very well skilled up, and had also just scored the first touchdown. So that must have been a bit of a psychological blow, considering how quickly he'd started to get rid of players from the Amazon side. So yeah, seems like it was a fun game, hard fought both sides.
I think it was definitely hard fought, Tom, and I think I would have done exactly the same in Graham's position as well. You know, get the early touchdown, put the pressure back on Jamie to try and, you know, force that score. Yes, it is high risk, but it's also high reward. So, Chris, would you, or Tom, would you guys have done anything different if you were Graham? Would you have tried to hold it out against the Dwarves for as long as possible, or would you have gone for the early score to try and make them maybe force the match a little bit more?
Yeah, it's tough. I think I would have. I think I would have probably scored as quick as I could with the Amazons, knowing that I have the kind of agile kind of advantage. But against a team with a lot of tackle in there, it's quite high risk, and you know I think you're just as likely to get yourself in a position where you're just getting battered. If you're trying to defend and stall out, as you are if you are kind of scoring quick and then having to slow a team down. So I think probably getting the touchdown in, so you're not risking it, and then making Jamie do the work. That feels right to me.
Yeah, I'd agree. Get a banker touchdown, so to speak, and get it. And because again, those dwarfs look absolutely vicious. All that tackle, as Chris rightly says, plus mighty blow, guard. You're just going to be worried how many people you're going to have left on the pitch.
Well done to Graham on what was a great season, and well done to Jamie remaining unbeaten after this game and moving into the quarterfinals. We will go on to our next game, which was another one that you can watch over on YouTube. You can watch this one back. An absolutely incredible game to be playing next to. Tom, I'm sure you'll sort of be the same. It was one that if there was any game that was going to distract you from trying to play your own game, it was this one. A 1-0 victory for the Ogre side, which just does not do it justice, really. Does not kind of do justice to what was going on in this game. It was swingy. It was, you know, there was at one point the focus was just trying to kill Moonface, the goblin for the Blackhawks. At one point that was it. At one point, all I heard was each coach trading consecutive rolling ones on dice. You know, it was absolutely mad, this one. But the Wreckham AFC Ogre side with Scott came out on top and went through to the next round. Tom, You were slightly closer to this one than I was, but we were both kind of next door. It was just nuts. But I think the big takeaway is it was just two coaches having an amazing time playing Blood Bowl.
Yes, absolutely. And I think just a public notice, if you are going to rewatch this, make sure your volume is turned down if you've got headphones, because it will blow your ears. The screaming, the shouts of no, the yeets and joys of absolute crazy madness will definitely injure your hearing. It was a fantastic game to stand and listen to. There was so much hilarity in it. There was stupidity amongst stupidity. There was throwing teammates, nearly getting a 1-1 draw right at the last end. The wire drummer came into great effect on Scott's side right at the end. It was just craziness, absolute craziness. And I have to say, whoever goes up against that ogre team now, look out! It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, it's an incredible side. What kind of Scott has done here, like the two ogres that he's built are really impressive. The stand firm guard pile driver, armbar brawler pile driver, they are very much kind of for a specific purpose. He's playing this team a specific way, as Scott always does, and it's just so much fun to see. And Scott, when you look at this team now, he's kind of doing his random skills, which is why he's just got such a weird mix. Looking at his next game, he's got two sprinting Gnoblars, he's got a catching Gnoblar, he's got a sure feet Gnoblar. It's actually, he's only got the two ogres in this side, but he's going to cause his quarterfinal opponent a unique problem, as always.
Yes, I was talking to his quarterfinal opponent yesterday, and they're quite. I think there's a bit of trepidation versus this team, which we know is one of the many, many fine characteristics that Mr. Norman brings to the tabletop. The only thing extra I can say about this match, two amazing coaches who really embrace the whole ethos of our community, and I personally think how to play a good game of Blood Bowl. If any other coaches out there and you've never played either of these two guys before, play them either. If you can play them in a tournament or a competitive league match, great. Even play them in a friendly. Both of them are really, really very entertaining, and I echo everything Tom said. Take 2 hours of your day, put it aside for you, go and watch this. It's absolute carnage. It's what proper insane Blood Bowl is all about. It just makes you smile from start to finish. Ones into ones, everything that could happen did happen, and it happened more times. And the best thing and the biggest compliment rather, I can say about this match, it felt like a bit of an anticlimax, a bit of a disappointment when Scott Norman scored on turn 15. He was like, "Oh, we were just having so much fun. Why are you going to spoil it all?" But no, well done, Scott. And I think, again, Simon, just on your one re-roll, well done. Played it great. Moonface goes into the A&DBBL Hall of Legends, if there is ever such a thing. And I'm sure he'll be back. So well done, Mr. Norman. And yeah, he now has some really good tools to cause even more chaos. So, movement 8 Gnoblars, come on. He's going to go rush. You know it. And with 5 free rolls. And I don't know how much inducements he's got. We'll have a look at that shortly. But I'm sure he'll be mixing it up as well.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Simon. But I'm really glad he kind of ended his season. He's had a tough group stage, but he's ended the season on a real high with a really fun game. And I don't know whether I'm happy that Moonface survived or whether I'm sad that Moonface didn't die in that last game. If there was any coach to kill Moonface, it was Scott Norman. But definitely, it's kind of one thing to build a team and then go far in the competition and win anything. I think it's just as much of a thing to build a team and build a player within a team that no one's going to forget. And whatever Simon's managed to do with this team, no one's going to forget Moonface. So well done to him. Well done to both coaches on what was a really fun game. Please do go back and watch that one because it is a really entertaining one. Moving on then to our next game, and it's our very own Mr. Tom Hovell with a 1-0 victory over Sir Honkington's Folly over the Gnomes, 2-1 on casualties to the Orc side, and Tom progressing through to the quarterfinals in a game that was it looks tight on the scoreline, and those Gnomes are a tough Gnome side. Tom, tell us how this one went down.
Yeah, I hate stunties. They
Don't
have
sit on the fence, Tom.
they have that really annoying thing where you think, oh, I've broken away from those trees. I'm away, happy days. I'll be scoring like multiple touchdowns, and then they just wander in. You know how they do, just wander into a cage and 2 die uphill, and get pals. You know that there was a lot of that kind of format going on. Tom has played this team a lot, and I mean the other Tom. I'm not talking in the third person. He's still getting these names. He's very good at positioning. He knows how to handle cages, but unfortunately, a bit like the Dwarf versus Amazon team, it was a bit of a war of attrition. Once the Orcs stopped pushing the Gnomes around and actually started hurting them, it started to really take effect that I could get a breakaway. Although, as you can tell by the score, he held me to a 1-0 very well. I actually kicked to him and took the ball from him, but the first half he managed to hold me back from not scoring the first half, and then the second half, as you can tell, he held me all the way to my turn 16 to actually score my touchdown. The trees are a nightmare. They were rooted and just stayed where it was, which thank goodness it did in the first half. But the other tree, Nest, it was just running amok, and he was sprinting that that tree. So he was going for it all the way. Very interesting game, very fun, lots to learn from it. So yeah, good fun.
Well, first of all, Tom, congratulations, because this now is your 4th game undefeated at Blood Bowl, and that's 2 wins and 2 draws, if I remember rightly. Not that I'm checking your record diligently. Looking at your team, you've got a lot of SP there ready to spend. There's several players you can upskill. Are you going to upskill before your next match? Are you going to do it 30 seconds beforehand? Are you keeping it really close to your chest, or are you just going to upskill it when you get 5 minutes onto a play?
Well, my next game is already kind of provisionally booked in for Friday against Snotlings, and they've got 540k in petty cash against me.
So another 20 or 40k is not going to matter, is it?
Not going to matter, really, is it? I might upskill 1 or 2. I've got a Blitzer sitting there with 10 SPP, and Quinton, he had an absolute cracker of a game. Causing a lot of damage in that one. Equally, had a very nice kickoff event where I had a prayers to Nuffle, and it was the fact that every time I caused a death, I got 3 SPP instead of 2. Got that, and then straight away killed a gnome. So that was quite nice.
Well, I think this gnome team is another one that I think we're going to miss. The kind of skills and the trees, the way that he's played those trees. These are not the original foxes, but if you look at some of the other players that he's had, he had a strength 1, movement 8 fox at one point in this roster. It's been a really interesting build to watch him kind of do over these 3 seasons. So we'll miss seeing them. But Tom, yeah, well done. A great result against what I think is a very tricky stunty opponent here, and definitely a kind of a trip up opportunity. But it looks like a very controlled game from you. So well done, sir. And we'll have a little look at your what your quarterfinal looks like in a little bit. But we will move on to our next game, which is a 2-0 victory for the Bitey Ducks over the Los Amazons Dodgers. Lizardmen versus Amazons here. And a very tight game, 2-0 for the Ducks here, but a game that was very unfortunate on on Harrison here. It was a very, very tight one that you kind of felt had all the hallmarks of a 1-1 draw, with the winner being whoever receives in extra time. And I think that's probably what it would have been, but for one failed rush that let Harrison down just at the worst point. Ducks took the lead on this one. Amazons looked like they were going to equalise, but it was either a rush or it was stand on the sideline or stand in a tackle zone. So either way, it was the rush had to happen. We're looking at the game, it felt like that was the decision I would have done as well, and unfortunately failed and lost the ball, and the Skinks were able to capitalise. Scott Harrison's he finished second in his group, so he's had a strong season with just a few bad results. We've said this in previous seasons about Harrison, that sometimes I think we had Tom Huns come on, who said that the thing about him is that he is really, really good at this game, but he has some of the worst luck of anyone that Tom knows. And it was one dice roll that let him down, which is tough.
It can be very, very tough to get so close, and then just one roll of a d6 can really screw you over. Again, Harrison's done really well. New team for this season, so to get to the knockout stage of the championship, well done, Harrison. Couple of questions I've got for you, Chris. First of all, how did Glottlstop perform? I know you scored a casualty, which is which is nice. I'm assuming you use your APOC on that.
There was one that I did use an APOC on, which saved a Saurus from being missed next game. So possibly, I think it was that one. It was interesting because I suddenly finding myself not with the strongest players on the pitch when I'm kind of expecting to have the strength advantage. He did fail his activation a couple of times, that left him tackle zoneless because there was no one nearby, or kind of didn't want to punch the person next to them. So he didn't. I don't think he maybe showed himself as the best he can be. Every time he went to blitz, it was terrifying. Some of those times he did roll a 1 and fail, but a prehensile tail, frenzy, strength 6 blitzing to mark up any of your players is very scary. So I think dice rolls didn't help him, and I kind of got to a point where I could leave a low skilled Saurus on him and kind of keep him trapped in place and take the hit if I needed to. So I kind of handled it, but it did put the fear into me, definitely.
And you've now won 5 games and drawn 1 this season. So you're unbeaten in the last 4 matches. How are you feeling for the pressure going into your quarterfinal matchup? Won't this be the most games you've ever won in a season if you win this one?
Yes, I only win 5 games in a season. So well done to my quarterfinal opponent. It's been a great season. I've really enjoyed it. We'll just try and go out on a high. I mean, I've never. I think this is the first time in a season I've drawn. So as far as kind of positive results go, it's my best season because I've got 5 wins and 1 draw, and that draw would normally have been a loss. But it will be quarterfinals often where I end up, and if I don't go any further, I'll go out to someone who played better. So that's always been the case, and I'll take that if it happens. But we'll give it a good go.
Well done, sir.
Well done.
Unfortunate for Harrison, he played really well, and it was so much fun to play him. He was good spirits, even though things weren't going his way. So well done, and very much look forward to hopefully playing him in another season. Moving on to our next game, which we will very quickly cover. It was an admin fixture. Unfortunately, Jack moved away, unable to continue with the league. And a big congratulations to Jack, who has just welcomed a little one into the world. So huge congratulations to him if he is watching this back. So this is just an admin result, which was the Blobby team progressing into the next round. A touchdown going on their Stilty runner, and then MVP going on Mr. Blobby himself, the trained troll. Somewhat terrifying there, but we will look at who he plays shortly. On to the penultimate game then, and it was a 2-0 victory for the Melton Mud Packers against the Goblin side, I Hate Blood Bowl. And a game that I'll be honest, I didn't really kind of cotton on to the fact that this was the case until the game had started, was for the Stunty Cup. So a reminder to anyone who's watching as to how the Stunty Cup is awarded in our league. It goes to the highest placed Stunty team in the Champions playoff. And these were the 2 remaining teams, Stunty teams in the Champions playoff. So it was a straight fight between them, and one that the Snotling side has come up as the victor. Before the game even started, we had games being played here. Inducements were going Andy's side, but Elliot was kind of wise to these inducements, knew the risk of star players here, and chose to spend his treasury on Bomber and Skitter to give more money to Andy, knowing that if Andy wanted Elliot not to have star players, he would have to take the same ones, and the Highlander rule would come into play. Taking Skitter meant that Andy can't take Skitter, and we've seen how well he has used Skitter in the past. So played a really kind of clever game here, and Skitter didn't play, Highlander rule came into effect. So you had Bommel on one side, and you had Hackflem on the other. Scott, you were in some of this game. You were on the pitch next door.
Yeah.
Andy, I think the game is summed up quite nicely from the fact that I believe the first time in the game that Andy fouled and got sent off, he argued the call and rolled a 6. I think that probably gives you an indication here.
It was this. If you look at the timings on Tour Play at the top there, this was over in what was literally a blink of an eye for Blood Bowl. It felt, from Elliot's perspective, 7 injuries in the first 7, turns. That's game. Andy was getting all the rolls, especially utilizing that best named pump wagon ever. So really, really doing his stuff. And he basically, Elliot lost more than he did. And when Andy, you've got, the mighty Hack Flem and that ridiculous movement 9 on your side as well. There was not a lot hardly anything Elliot could do. So yeah, when he went 1-0 down, by the second half, it was just a question of when, because I think Elliot at one point was only down to 4, maybe 5 on the pitch with all his other KOs as well. And there was this huge pile of plastic corpses in his injury box as well. So Andy was on fire, played really, really well, and had a good season enjoying these guys. And as we've talked about before, he plays them very well. He knows how to use them. He's using all the tools available to them. And good luck, Andy, in your quarterfinal match. Commiserations, Harrison and Andy. Yes, you do look magnificent with your A&DBBL mug. Well done.
Tom, it's really tough, isn't it, when you end up with maybe just 3-4 players left. It's kind of pretty helpless situation here. But he was in that position for a reason, and that reason is Andy is one of the only remaining unbeaten coaches in the league. He is playing this team exceptionally well.
Yeah, 100%. And as Scott says, it's always difficult when you kind of have that many casualties against you on it. That pump wagon looked like it was on absolute fire in more or less consecutive turns. And seeing that you've only got kind of a few casualties on the Snotling team, this Snotling team is a force to be reckoned with. I can see this potentially being one of the teams going all the way. Their next game is going to be a very, very interesting one.
And the one player I love on Andy's team, I think, well, first of all, I think having Block on the train troll, having then rolled a, random strong arm on the other train troll is okay. Okay, Thick Skull isn't the best to have on the pump wagon, but yeah, at least it's you know, it's not. It just gives it an extra bonus, a little bonus on the casualty roll. But if you look at the stealthy runner, Jidwu, I don't know, but to have block on that as well. So you've got the blodger, you've got right stuff, so he can be thrown as well. You've got sidestep, sprint, which gives you movement 9. If you that's phenomenal, isn't it? You know, that is a really, really nice one to have as well. Yeah, all you need to do is put sure feet on him, and then it's job done, really, isn't it? That'd be great.
Well done, Andy. Hard luck to Elliot. He chose this goblin team at the last possible moment at random, and it's been a tough season, but he got through to the top round. He got through to what was effectively the Stunty Cup final. So well done, Elliot, and good luck, Andy, in the next round. The last game that we come to, one of our highest scoring games in the season here, and it is none other than our very own Mr. Scott Bryant. 5-2 victory here over the Gortus Giggling Gix Goblin side. And I think, Scott, I'll let you kind of explain a little bit of how this game went down. But in a way, Leanne is somewhat unlucky that this wasn't maybe 5-3, 5-4, because she was literally throwing everything at you.
Indeed, yeah, physically and metaphorically at times as well. Pouring rain didn't help. Leanne had a lot of secret weapons. So what do you do with secret weapons? You try and score as early as you possibly can as well. Pouring rain didn't help. Not picking up the ball for the first 2 turns was a real pain. Dave, the Prince of Ipswich, Rue, did what he does best, and he was also blitzing well on the tabletop, which is, you know, good. So I scored the first touchdown after turn 4, which meant then, if I believe it was the bomber went off. No, the bomber stayed on with a bribe, and then the loony went off, or was it the other way around? Anyway, it was a question of weather in the storm. But as you can see, turn 4, we get a 1-turn touchdown with the Doom Diver, and it was a phenomenal effort. It was I actually had the Dark Elves back on turn 6, on row 6, so they were all lined up there ready to go. And actually, if I remember on that one, yeah, they were all lined up ready to go. And actually, I believe I had them on row 6 and row 8. So I thought, if they're gonna, you know, it's always gonna do something. Got the throw, got the landing. The D3 row went over, so the Doom Diver glided over the top of the Witch Elf on the last row and landed it, stuck the landing beautifully, and just walked it in. It was amazing. So that was a 1-turn touchdown number 5 of the season for Leanne. I did, again, as you can see, get that second score before half time. So it meant Leanne had to play more of her star player, her secret weapons, who were only on for a couple of turns. A few more of them get taken off as well. And look what happened just there at the beginning of, you know, turn 9, start of the second half. The train troll is there again. He's doing his thing. He gets the completion, and the Doom Diver went in there. Landed next to an elf, yeah, didn't matter. Just stood up. Was all perfectly okay. Dodged out, ran around, you know, and then all of a sudden, another 1-turn touchdown. So just to put it in context, this is, I think, the first time that Leanne has scored 2. If you're going to play Leanne, she will do the 1-turn touchdown, and she's ridiculously refined on it at the moment. So a big shout out for Leanne. We had a great match, full of madness, full of insanity. Yes, as soon as that Doom Diver scored the second touchdown, I decided to go and kill it, just out of professional courtesy as much as anything. And Leanne has scored 6 1-turn touchdowns this season. There are coaches this season who haven't scored 6 touchdowns, and there are probably a lot of coaches who haven't even scored 1-turn touchdown. So for Leanne to be the queen of the 1-turn touchdown, well done, Leanne. And it was a mad-o game. You know, we did have tea and cake halfway through because we are civilized, not just barbarian Blood Bowl coaches. And it was then just, yeah, the Delves were getting the casualties, as you can see there, and it became a numbers match. And by the end of it, yeah, okay, I went 3-2, but as you were there, Chris, and you saw as well, Leanne went for the one-turn touchdown again, and the Goblin, just failed the landing. Otherwise, it would have been 3-3. And it would, who knows where it would have been as well. So between the rain, it was absolutely a crazy match as well. Leanne enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it. We all had a couple of beers afterwards, which is part of our community ethos. And I'll take that and move on to the next knockout match.
Tom, it's great. It's been so much fun watching Leanne this season, because previous seasons I think she's scored at most 1 touchdown. This season she's got, I think, 5 or 6, and she's got them in spectacular ways every time. Clearly, playing this season for the right reasons and having a great time with it. And it's great to see her kind of worrying coaches, because there was a look of worry on Scott's face at several times in that game, just at the prospect of another one's coming.
Yeah, it's always nice to get that kind of bit of unpredictability. She's definitely learned the game. She's definitely learned the one-turn touchdown, as Scott mentioned there, to a fine art. So it's a dangerous thing when you get that to kind of opponent who has got the skills and knows their team now. And it seems to be quite interesting, because both of you these are both new teams to both of you this season. And it was an interesting kind of look at this, because I think both of you didn't really start off that well straight away, did you? You both built your teams, both learnt the bad sides as well as the good sides of both your teams. So it's interesting to see that it's got to this level, and it's such a shame for Leanne, on the basis that, as you quite rightly put it, Chris, she's had some fantastic scores, but it's just the fact that she's been playing against some very, very good coaches, Scott included, that she hasn't got any further, unfortunately. But well done to both teams.
Yeah, well done to Scott for weathering a goblin storm here, and well done to Leanne for playing out what was a really entertaining game. So let's have a little look.
Thank you to all the. I hope it was as enjoyable watching it, Chris, as it was for you, Luke, and Mark as well, who's in chat. Evening, Mark. Hope Mark said as well. He makes the comment that it was a 5 out of 5 star entertaining game. Yeah, and that's what it's all about. Everybody had a laugh. And I think at some point you yourself had to walk away from the pitch.
I had to keep walking away because I had to, because I wanted this game to end sort of 5-5. And I could feel myself wanting to say ways that it could happen. So I had to keep leaving. But it was a great game. So well done to you both. Let's have a little look then at what the quarterfinals look like. We will start at the we'll start in the conference. The Blobby team make their debut in the conference here, in the conference playoffs against our very own Mr. Tom Hovell. Greystone Gladiators and the Snotball Furies, both two teams who were both fortunate to be in the quarterfinals, face off against each other. Smoking a Pancake.
Sorry, just on that one, Chris. I know Carl's in chat. What would you do with 650k?
I'm taking. No, I can't say what I'm taking. I know what I'm taking. I'm not gonna say it. And there's some mega stars coming.
Because it's ogres, and you get quite a large selection of star players. Some dangerous star players there. That's what I'll say.
In the other side of that draw, the Dark Elves are Smoking a Pancake come up against the Imperial Nobility side, in for a penny, in for a pound, and Elf Preservation Society, the next team to try and weather that ogre storm against Wreckham AFC. 3 elf teams in that bottom half are looking all very strong. In the Champions playoff, we have got Disco Danger Rats versus the Melton Mud Packers. We have got the Bitey Ducks versus the Claws of Corn. We have got the World's Berserkers versus Tipsy Tankards, which is a game that has been played already. We have not adminned it yet, and I will not tell you the result yet. We will go over that next week. And 5 Rules of Dodge, the Dark Elves up against the Chaos Dwarves of Dawizar. 4 very, very interesting games there, and 4 very, very tight matches that I think are going to be very difficult to call. So it'll be interesting to see what our semi-finals look like. That is all of the games we've got to go through this week. That is all of the games. We are now into quarterfinal territory. We'll bring you as many quarterfinals as we can over the next 2 weeks, and we'll try and bring you as many live games for both the conference and the Champions playoff as well. Thank you very much, Scott. Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you, everybody who has joined us in one way or another. We will be back next week for another roundup.
Chris, before you go, do you want to make one more shout out about the fact that we've achieved the fundraising target this year? I think it's worthy of it. So.
Okay. We've achieved
why we're doing it, and why we're doing it, Chris. Come on.
I'll let you can do this shout out, Scott.
Do you want me to say the official we're doing it to raise money for a great cause, or do you want me? Or do you want me to say we're doing it?
You go nuts with it. Whatever you feel in your heart of hearts.
All right. Well, we're doing it because Chris has us under an NDA and legal obligation with a very strong legal team. That's my reason. Yeah. On that bombshell.
Longer, so I took a drink.
No, I can see you taking a drink, so I thought I'd be short on it.
Okay.